Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited you could be here because today we're talking about scaling, but we're talking about doing it in a consistent, predictable way, right? It's one of the hardest things to do as a business. I see a lot of businesses that take off and do really well, and they don't even know what's helping them do really well. And then they fall down and crash down just as fast. We saw a lot of that with COVID, this COVID drop where businesses grew, and then all of a sudden they came back down, probably worse than they were before then. How does this happen? Why does it happen? It's because you're not consistent. Yeah, you don't have a system to create consistent, scalable company. And we're going to fix that right now today. And with us to help make this happen is Rick Pino. Now, Rick is a go-to business consultant with wealth coach for entrepreneurs who are done with guesswork and ready to turn their expertise into serious income fast. So he's got 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and financial education. Rick helps clients monetize their knowledge and online income streams that scale. So he's not just theory. Rick has built many seven-figure businesses in real estate, e-commerce, publishing, and digital marketing. And his systems have generated over 8 figures in sales, and he's helped his clients hit 6 figures in a single day. Right? Whether he's guiding B2C beginners or advertising 7 figures or advising 7 figures B2B founders, Rick delivers strategy, clarity, and results to keep serious entrepreneurs and stop spinning their wheels and start building real digital wealth. Man, what's up, Rick? How you doing today?
Ty, what's up, bro? Good to be here, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man,
having
you've
me
done
on.
you've done some cool stuff. You're doing
I'm
still
excited to
doing some cool
connect,
stuff.
man. I'm just trying to be like you, Ty. I'm just trying to be like you, bro.
I wouldn't. I think you're having way more success on the path that you're on. How do you do this, man? How do you scale and build businesses in so many different industries successfully?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thanks for having me on, Ty. And by the way, guys, if you're listening, do yourself a favor and connect to what Ty is up to. I've been checking it out, man, the past couple of weeks. Incredible the impact, the influence this guy is making in the community. Thank you, brother. This is awesome, man. I appreciate what you guys are up to.
I appreciate that, Rick.
Yeah, dude, for me, I follow, it's like, I call it the 3S system, right? And it's systems, softwares, and staff. Like, we're not talking about the new entrepreneur who all of us start here, but new entrepreneur, you're wearing all the hats. You are the AR, you are the marketer, you're the copywriter, you're the face, you're the salesperson, et cetera, et cetera. And for some weird reason, we feel like, man, I'm going to do it all myself, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times as new entrepreneurs, we work ourselves in just to a glorified job. We went from the 9 to 5 to now we're working like 24/7. And yes, we're working for ourselves and maybe you're making a little bit more income. But if you're the only one doing all the stuff, you are going to get very stuck very quick. And so what we need to do is we need to tap into the 3S's: systems, softwares, and staff. Quick story for you. So there was a Greek mathematician named Archimedes, okay? And he's the guy who came up with that phrase eureka. And he had this other saying that said, if you give me a lever and a sure foundation, I can move the earth. Now, what does that mean? Now, obviously, all of us here, if there was like an 8-ton boulder and all of us are trying to move that boulder in our own strength, it's impossible. No one can do it. However, if you had a lever that was long enough and you had a foundation that was sure enough, then now you can put in a little bit of effort and move this gigantic boulder with just a little bit of effort. Well, that's the beauty of systems, softwares, and staff. So systems for me, Ty, are the SOPs, the step by steps, first do this, then do this, then do this, right? Softwares, as we all know, AI is here. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and it's only going to grow bigger and bigger. We need to learn how to leverage those softwares that can do the work of whatever, 100 people in an hour that would have taken 100 people a month. There's softwares that can do these kind of things. And then staff, like instead of us trying to be the one trick pony, I'm the guy, I'm the gal who's doing everything, man, as soon as you start making a little bit of money, hire that first staff member who can, take some of that responsibility off your plate. And I always say, like, the best first staff member to hire is a person who loves to do the thing that you hate, right? It's not like, whoa, should I get an executive assistant? Maybe, right? Do you hate admin? Well, no, not necessarily. I really hate the books. Well, then your first staff member should be a bookkeeper, right? Like, because whenever you can take these things off your plate, now it gives you more capacity to do the thing that you're good at. And I think, those three things, man, systems, softwares, and staff, they really help get like the machine going to where you can have the revenue that you can count on. Like you everything just becomes very like clockwork, right? When you do that, and that's how to scale. It's scary at first, especially if you're a new entrepreneur. Like, I don't know, like staff members and new softwares, that software costs whatever, $2,000 a month, and I'm like, do it, man. Invest into these things because that's how you scale.
So when it comes to systems, how do you really help your clients switch over to like these system-based cash flow? Where
Yeah.
how do you recognize the systems that they need that they don't have, and then put those systems in place to be able to create that consistent cash flow?
Yeah, so this is a fantastic question. What I like to do, bro, is I love serving people who are currently right now where I once was, whatever, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because whenever you choose to serve somebody who is currently going through what you've already been through, you know the language, you know the struggles, you know the pain points, and you know how to overcome because now you're here on the other side. With that being said, what I like to do is I like to reverse engineer, okay, what were those big, whatever, 5 or 3 or 7 moments or breakthroughs or seasons that really got me over the hump of that thing into the next level? And I like to reverse engineer, okay, what were those? And then, dude, just turn them into like actionable steps. Step one, do this. Step two, do this. Step three, do that. So that way, when you're creating the system, anytime the client is like, I'm lost, or what do I do now? Well, where did you like drop the ball? Well, it was right here on whatever, step three. Okay, cool. All you got to do is go back to step four now. You got step three done, get to step four. And if we can create these like very easy to follow, I call it the yellow brick road, right? Easy to follow yellow brick road systems like this, then this, then this, then this. Now it's very repeatable. Now it's very doable for anybody. And this actually, you as a consultant in your business, you can always go back to this framework for your clients. And so anyone who's struggling, you can be like, well, where did you drop the ball? Let's go back there. Oh, step number two, cool. Let's talk through it. And then let's get you on to step three as soon as possible. So that's how I like building out frameworks for things.
What about software? What tools, software are you seeing as really has a lot of value right now?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them, man. I mean, we use tons of software, and I'm using probably I'm spending maybe between $8,000 to $10,000 a month just on softwares, but I didn't start there, right? Like, there's a fantastic software that I love called Go High Level. A lot of new entrepreneurs can get started with Go High Level. You can build funnels, you can set up sales pages, you can do workflows, you can do all kinds of stuff on Go High Level. And I think the entry level is like $100 a month or something like that. And then obviously, as you scale and as you grow, you can begin to implement other softwares in place. But it's like anything else, bro. Like, you don't go to the gym and like, I'm gonna go in there and bench press 500 pounds today. Like, it doesn't start there, right? Like, you've got to start in the baby steps first, and as you grow, as you scale, you add on more. So there's a lot of different softwares for a lot of different things. And I think what it comes down to is when you are finally maxed out on the manpower doing whatever, let's say a spreadsheet or data entry or this kind of customer service, and it's just all jumbled. When it's finally maxed out and you're like, gosh, this is taking me 8, 10, 12 hours a day, take some of the profit and just look into the software that does that, because whatever the thing is, there's a software that already does that for you. So I love to be innovative with softwares. And then of course there's a really cool software called Zapier that connects all these softwares to begin to work with each other too. So there's all kinds of options, man.
What about on the staffing side? I see that a lot of people hear about hiring A players, but can't afford to hire A players. So how do you help get your tribe over that hump?
Brother, for me, it's not that you can't afford to hire them, it's that you can't afford not to hire A players. For instance, like, here's an example. Okay, let's say marketing is the thing that we're talking about here, and you can do marketing at, let's say, 100%. Okay, we're talking arbitrary numbers, but if you as the founder are 100% at marketing and you're like, there's no way I'm going to hire a person to help me with marketing, because if they come on, they're only going to be able to do 60% of the job I could do at 100%. Well, the cool part with this is I always say, as a leader, you need to be willing to go slower in the beginning so that you can eventually go faster in the end. What does that mean? What that means is that if you're willing to bring on somebody who, yes, they're not going to do it as 100% on as you at first, but you're willing to invest and train and equip in the beginning, right? Now, let's say you help them get from 60% to 80% in year number one, and then year number two, they go from 80 to 90, or maybe even 80 to 95 to where you were. Well, now, not only do you have all this capacity left over because you're not the one giving all of that to that one place, you can spread out and do the other things that you need to do. But the cool part is that now you've just doubled, even in the beginning, even when they're at 60%, you went from 100% to 160% capacity just by having somebody on who, yes, they're not as good at you, not as good as you in the beginning, but as a leader, it's our job to invest into our people, hire well, right? I don't believe that you can turn a D player into an A player. I don't believe that that's possible. That's a lot of that it's on them. But man, if you can find a B player and invest into them for 3, 6, 9, 12 months and help them get up to that A, my gosh, dude, you knocked it out of the park. So for me, it's not that you can't afford it, it's that you can't afford not to if you're really serious about scaling and going to the next level.
Speaking of scaling and go to the next level, I think I'm surprised that your three S's don't include anything to do with marketing.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to marketing, I have a little bit of a different approach on marketing. So a lot of people when they're thinking of marketing, they're thinking of like, how can I get the word out and how can I get people to buy my stuff? Well, when you have systems, softwares, and staff implemented in the background, now instead of you like, we got to push harder on marketing, I think a lot of people just get a little confused on that because when you're overly focused on marketing to try to get the sale, now you're just like the sleazy, gross, you know, person that like I don't want to do business with them. Like they're slimy, they're like they feel needy. So for me, marketing is more about how can I put out such immense value into the market? Like Ty, you can't outsow the farm, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I have the conviction of if I can do my best at just continually every day sowing seeds of value into my market, I don't now because I have done a good job of sowing all these seeds of value, somewhere out there I will not be able to help but get paid, right? And this disconnects me from the sale. Now I don't need this sale, I just need a sale. And the punchline is if you sow no seeds, you'll reap no harvest. If you sow a little bit of seeds, you'll reap a little bit of harvest. But if you sow a ton of seeds, you will not be able to help but reap a gigantic harvest. So for me, marketing is less about like, hey guys, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Marketing is less about leading with asking and it's more about leading with giving, right? Because when you lead with giving and you approach marketing as I'm here to serve, then now you position yourself as a leader, Leader, and not a needer, Needer. When you're marketing just to get the sale, you're chasing, right? But whenever you are serving the market with tremendous value, now you are attracting because now you're a leader. And people are like, wow, she's my gal, he's my guy, he really helped me, she really helped me. And when you can, like on the front facing part of your business, focus on just serving people at the highest level, whether they tell you yes or no, it doesn't matter. You don't want to buy my thing? Cool. I'm going to be here tomorrow to serve you again with more value because this isn't about the sale first. This is about service first. When you position the marketing like that, then on the back end, systems, softwares, and staff, they do the heavy lifting for you. So those two components work synergistically together. That's my approach for it.
And I love that. It makes a ton of sense. So when you do that, then, how do you find are the best ways? Because, I've been doing info marketing for 12 years. Like nobody was doing it when we were doing it, right? Like I remember just put a YouTube video on YouTube on any topic related to my industry and we would shoot to number one. man, now everybody's a guru, right? Like it's interesting because now everybody is doing some form of info marketing because they're using TikTok and Insta and these kind of things to do it. And then it's even hard now to get out there and be able to be seen because there is so much noise. So how do you turn that into like providing value, putting out content, putting out information, helping? How do you bring that and turn that into a way to scale the business predictably?
Yeah, 100%. So you're absolutely right. Like because of the internet, like everyone's a guru now. And I think there's two main components that are needed to cut through the noise in 2025 and beyond. And the first one is, bro, you've got to be really, really good at what you do. Like you've got to be the best of the best of the best at what you do. Obviously, none of us start off by being the best, but you've got to be sharpening your axe, man. You got to be growing your skills, personal development, like becoming the best that you can every single day because everyone's going to know right away who's the best, right? They're going to know, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She does, he doesn't, etc. Like, so number one, you've got to become the best. And that's going to be very, very evident in your language. It's going to be very, very evident in your clarity. It's going to be very, very evident in your testimonies of people that you've actually helped serve, right? And then number two, bro, this one's just as important, if not more important than the first, authenticity. Authenticity is going to cut through the noise of everything. If you can be the best of the best of the best at what you do and be true to yourself and keep it real and keep it about serving people and helping people and not about the stuff or the flash or the this or that, and just say, dude, here's the real authentic me, and I'm the best at what I do, and you prove it to them not by flexing but by helping. Those two things right there are going to help us cut through the noise. Because bro, nowadays anyone can go rent a Lambo for $1,000. You know, like there's even places in LA where you can go, you know, to a photo studio and like sit in a fake private jet and take pictures. Like anyone can do this these days. It's not about the stuff. It's about like authentically helping people. And I'm a firm believer, bro. If you can show up every day, be the best, and be authentic at what you do consistently over time, you're always going to outlast like those fake gurus, the fake players, because they don't even have what it takes to make it for 6 months, let alone a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 or 20. So if you can just keep showing up every day, being the best, being authentic, you're going to rise to the top, man. There's a book called Play Bigger, and it talks about becoming the category king of your niche, of your market. And I think a big part of becoming that category king is to become the best at what you do over time and to stay authentic.
Sorry about that. The only person that can make my phone ring is my kids, and one of them is calling me multiple times. But I'm going to text him to see what he wants. I
All
keep
good.
blocking his calls, which I usually don't do, but it's only
Get
for
it, bro.
some kind of
I got
disruption
three
there.
kids too.
With that being said, how does somebody even know they're ready to scale? Like how does somebody know that they have the right software, the right staff, the right systems in place to even consider trying to scale?
Yeah, so I think for me, when I'm consulting my people on, hey, it's time to scale, is when you are fully maxed out at your current capacity. And a lot of times this will come with signs of overwhelm. This will come with signs of like, man, this is just too much. I can't go on, right? And for me, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, the successful people are going to see those feelings of overwhelm or this is too much. I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I can make it another week, another month, another day, let alone, you know. And the people who do make it and they level up are those people under that pressure. They understand this is not a sign to stop or to give up. This is my sign to level up. And a lot of times the pressure is the doorway to the next level. And so for me, I tell my people, dude, you've got to change your relationship with feelings of overwhelm and feelings of stress. A lot of times when overwhelm comes and knocks on the door, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. And they allow this feeling to be bigger than themselves, right? But now overwhelm comes and knocks on my door every single day. And instead of me going, oh my gosh, it's so big and so scary, it's like, oh, you're here again? What's up, old friend? It's time to level up again. Cool. You were just here yesterday. I can't believe it. You're already back. Awesome. Let's level up again. So for me, when you change your relationship with overwhelm from you're big and scary, this is hard, etc., to oh, it must be time to go to the next level. This is my reminder. Now you become bigger than that feeling, and it always allows you access into the next level, into the next version. And so that's kind of my approach with it. It's like anytime you feel like, oh gosh, this is too much or too heavy or this is hard, whatever, that's your opportunity to level up. And that's usually a sign that it's time to scale.
And that's a really good answer and a really big mindset shift. What are some of the other mindset shifts that you think that people need to have to be able to go from where they are to getting to that next level of actually growing and scaling?
Man, there's so many of them, right? I think the biggest one is always be investing into yourself at higher and higher and higher levels, because your bank account is never going to outgrow your mindset or your belief system. Like Ty, there's a reason why the guys and gals who win the lottery, or even like professional athletes who get these gigantic lump sums of money all up front, lottery winners, sometimes professional athletes, they get all this money up front, and then dude, like 1 or 2 or 3 years later, they're dead broke again, right? Like they're back working at McDonald's or something, or they're even worse, they're like living under the bridge again. It's like, what just happened? Well, their wallet went up, but their mindset and their belief system stayed down. And so my conviction is we've got to continually be growing our mindset to understand that nothing is bigger than our God-given potential. Like instead of saying, oh my gosh, you see so many people do like, oh, the price of eggs and the price of gas is so expensive. And oh my gosh, we both know people, bro, I'm sure, that would drive an extra 5 minutes down the road to save an extra 3 cents a gallon on gas. It's like, what? Right? Like, why are you allowing the price of something to be bigger than your God-given potential? Right? Like you're bigger than the price of eggs. You're bigger than the price of gas. Right? And so I think we need to, it's never about the $1 million. It's always about becoming the $1 million person with the $1 million mindset and the $1 million belief system. Because when you can become the person, now getting the actual money, getting the stuff, it becomes very, very easy. There's so many mindset stuff out there, man. I can go on about that, but that's one of them.
It gives a lot of people that are watching that are trying to get to consistency. They've got income, the income goes up, the income goes down. I talk to so many entrepreneurs are in that trap where it's like the income's going up. They're not necessarily controlling it with what they're doing. It's not like they're increasing ad spend and seeing it, so it's a little unpredictable. Then they invest, right? They invest more in systems, more in staffing. Then it drops back down, and it just creates this problem where they're not able to generate it consistently. So they're scaling and then they're pulling back and scale up. But what is some of the best advice you have for your tribe when you're helping them fix that and actually be able to create predictable, scalable income in the business?
Yeah, fantastic question. So, Jim Rohn used to teach this concept: be, do, have. Be, do, have. And the idea of it is the more you can become, the more or the easier it is to do the thing. And the more or the easier you do the thing, the more you're able to have the stuff, right? So the more you can become, the more you can do, and the more you can do, the more you can have. Well, the problem with people who like kind of go through the ebbs and flows of just, we're up and then we're down, then we're up and then we're down, we're up, and then before you know it, you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years in, and you're at the same place you were 4 years ago, and it's like, man, what's going on? I suspect, without knowing any context of anyone's, situation, it's probably because somewhere along your journey you stopped becoming the person, right? See, a lot of people make the mistake of they don't start with becoming and then growing into having and then growing from having start with the becoming, then growing into the doing, then growing from the doing into the having. They start with having. Oh, it must be nice to have this stuff. It must be so cool to be rich. Wow. Well, that's so far out there, it's never going to happen for me. And because they start backwards, must be nice. Now they never do what it takes. And because they never do what it takes, they never become the person that is required to have the stuff. And so if people are still up and down, and it's been 1, 2, 3, 5 years, whatever, and you're still exactly right now where you once were, I suspect it's because you stopped becoming. And this is why I just said, in the last question, we've got to always be sharpening our axe, man. Like every single one of us, we get sharpened, especially if you've had any kind of success. We get to the point where, the axe gets sharp for a season and then we swing it, stuff starts working, we start making a little bit of money, having a little success. But over time, it's like this isn't working quite as well. Why? What's going on? Well, when's the last time you stopped to pause to sharpen the axe? Because you can either have a very, very sharp axe with little effort to get the same result, or you can have a dull axe with a ton of effort to get the same result, right? So for me, I am going to always be sharpening the axe, man. So I don't stay now, like I don't stay where I'm at. In 5 years from now, I don't want to look back and be like, well, I'm still in the same place. We have to become more, man. We have to become more.
Those are powerful words. When it comes to what about those people that are, I think there's so many entrepreneurs that are obsessed with revenue and not profit, right? And so then as a result of that, they may even be scaling businesses that aren't necessarily profitable. And then they're in trouble when things happen. And being in the financing space, I see this all the time. So what is your advice relating to monetization and being able to basically create the right profit margin before you even start to scale?
Man, this is a fantastic question. It reminds me of a story. I was talking to one of my mentors a couple of years ago, and I basically go to them and I was like, "Hey, this situation's happening in my business, and we're hitting really cool numbers on the gross, but man, my take home is like not anywhere near where I want it to be. I mean, we're still doing great, but man." And he just looks at me. He's like, "Well," and then I ask him like, "So what should I do? Like, what would you do in this situation?" And then he responds back and he goes, "How big is your ego?" I said, "What do you what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, do you want to, have this ego stroking thing where like, hey, my business does, multiple 8 figures a year, but the net is like way down here, nowhere near what you desire, and you're doing all this work just to have this big gross, like trophy? Or would you rather have a smaller gross with a way bigger net, but you don't have the ego to say, oh, we're doing multiple 8 figures a year anymore?" And I was like, well, I mean, the quality of life is going to be better if I do option B instead of option A. Like, and so for me, we had to make that choice at that time. Okay, let's get more efficient. We're not going to hit 8 figures a year, but we're still going to do multiple seven. And even though I'm not saying 8 figures a year, man, our take home is way higher, man. And so when we, at that season, when we did that, it was fantastic for us. It allowed us to like get our bearings. You can build up even faster. And then, it allowed us to grow and scale past even beyond where we ever thought was imaginable. So with that being said, I think that there's not like a, black and white, this exact number, because all industries are different, all niches are different, all markets are different. I think it comes down to the quality of life, like what you desire for you, your life, you and your family, if you're married, etc. What is worth it to you? I have mentors who they're like, dude, they're not married. Like some of them have chosen to stay single and they're like, I'm giving everything to the business, and they're doing like hundreds of millions a year, but that's their life. And their take home is like whatever, a 30% margin on the net. And then I have other mentors who they're doing like whatever, 20 million a year, and their take home is a lot more. They're taking home almost as much as the guy who's like busting it for the 100 million. The 20 million guy, he's working part-time. He goes golfing 5 days a week. He chills, and he's built a business that serves him instead of him serving his business. So I think it comes down to like your personal desire, what's worth it for you, what would you like in life, and then kind of reverse engineering from there.
Rick, great stuff today. There's so many, when we're just scratching the surface, there's so many things we could dive into. Everybody watching, what should they do if they want to learn more about your systems and about what you're doing to help your tribe grow and maybe even join and be part of your tribe?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm all over social. Just Rick Pino, Rickpino, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all over the place, or just rickpino.com, man.
Okay, cool. And then get to your social channels from rickpino.com as well, right?
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Ty, I
This was
appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me on, man.
I love it. I love your mindset. I love the way you think about things. It's just so powerful.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
All right, so listen, if you're watching this, make sure you go to rickpino.com and find Rick as well on all the social media channels. Look, it only takes less than a minute to be able to find him and to be able to connect and see what he has going. He's got so much great content. I mean, like he said, he's the king. He didn't admit this, but he's the king of out there providing value that can help you grow to 7, 8, 9 figures. And so make sure you check him out on social, and also make sure you go to rickpino.com as well. There, you're able to learn more about turning your existing knowledge into real income, scalable income, predictable income. So make sure you check it out today at rickpino.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. Have a great day.